Hello and welcome to another edition of Family Matters. I'm Oswald Sawh, your host, and Family Matters is brought to you by Maps. I am very happy to welcome back again Penny Byer, who, for those who were listening to our show 2 weeks ago, she is the coordinator for the Thompson Seniors Community Resource Council, and we were talking about elders and seniors, and we brought her back because everyone, very few people, if any, that I know would not be able to relate to this discussion right now. Everyone has a parent or a grandparent or an aunt or an uncle. Interesting enough, the last show when we were talking, Penny mentioned that just in Thompson alone, there's about 2,500 people that would classify as an elder or senior, and of course that's just in Thompson. Of course, in the north, we haven't done the math, but I'm sure we're talking a significant population. As we're heading into the Christmas season, we were talking about some of the challenges that our seniors and elders have. One of them we talked about was isolation, especially as a result of COVID. There's been a lot more challenges for elders and seniors to be able to go out into the community to interact. But we also talked about one topic that, uh, at times, probably most of the time, very uncomfortable about elder abuse, whether it's emotional or financial or physical. Uh, Definitely, it happens. It happens a lot more than most people realize. But now we're wanting to talk about just overall, and not just for Thompson, but for North Manitoba. What are some of the gaps that we feel we have out there when it comes to properly servicing our elders and our seniors? Penny, thank you again for coming back. So let's start from there. What do you feel are some of the gaps we currently have?
One of the biggest ones,
Mm,
and I don't know if it was coincidence or what, but we lost it at the beginning of COVID, is medical foot care.
mm,
There's actually currently an ad hoc committee of seniors who are, well, we're on the verge of launching a pretty strong advocacy campaign. Um, the thing about foot care is that it doesn't help just seniors and elders.
mhm.
It helps people with diabetes.
Oh yes, yeah.
And one disturbing thing, one of the people that attended one of these ad hoc committee meetings recently, they were talking to somebody from the NRHA and said, well, why can't we get this back? Well, of course, the answer was resources. And they said, so what happens if you've got a person with uh, um,
Type two diabetes. Mm,
diabetes
yes.
and their feet get so badly infected that you have to amputate? Well, we can amputate.
Mm,
So the thought was, so you're telling us it's easier to amputate than it is to do preventative medicine with foot care.
yeah.
So people are pretty upset right now, not just the seniors. We had two qualified nurses in Thompson, and people would come from the outlying communities to
Hmm.
get their feet looked after.
Yeah.
It's not a pedicure. It's
No.
not having your nails trimmed and the calluses rubbed off.
Yes.
There's dressing changes. There's people who have boils and blisters that have to be properly attended to, and you need the medical expertise to be able to deal with it.
And you know what? Is it's more than just an elder and a senior issue for anyone. And I mean, I've told people I'm a type two diabetic, and I understand the need for the service for sure, and I know exactly what you're talking about when once a year or so that you would be tested in regards to is there any nerve damage, any, and that is an early sign if there's going to be any increasing health issues. So it's absolutely important, imperative, as not just for elders and seniors, even though I think that's probably the most urgent need. but absolutely it's an issue for everyone as well. So sorry, continue with that, Penny.
Yeah, so there's two huge groups of people that would
Mm,
benefit from getting the foot care back. And the
mm,
sad thing is,
mm,
we're told that, well, there's no foot care clinics in the province. That's not true. There's
mm.
15 clinics in Winnipeg that offer medical foot care that are sponsored by the Winnipeg Regional Health Agency. So if they can do it, why can we not be doing it?
15 in
Winnipeg.
Winnipeg. Wow.
Yeah. So that's one of our questions. The other thing is a gap is exercise and fresh air.
Hmm.
Uh, now, in Thompson, there was an exercise program that was being run out of the Rotary Place. When COVID hit, different things were tried. One was sectioning it off so that people could keep their distance, and then they tried the Zoom. People really like the personal trainer in front of their face. They can ask questions faster. The trainer can see faster if there's any issues that are happening. And so they've been trying, this group in Thompson has been trying for about 6 to 8 months now to either get the the exercise into a Zoom in-person combination or something. And I'm sure the person in charge at NRHA is swamped with work, but it's the person who's looking after it is in the paw.
Oh, okay.
So there's no real urgency.
Yeah.
Okay, so they think that maybe they're going to be making some progress now. But in terms of other forms of exercise and fresh air, this Thompson Seniors, long name, we're going to be offering something really exciting next year. We were approved for a grant to buy special bicycles so that we can take people for bicycle rides regardless of their mobility. So if they are confined to a wheelchair, we can take them for a bike ride.
Really?
If they can do a little bit of pedaling, we can take them for a bike ride. If they can't do any pedaling, we take them for a bike ride. And if they need support, we can strap them in. That's probably not the right way to say that, but we'll have all of the proper support. So the grant is approved, and we'll be able to offer that. So, and maybe in terms of the fresh air, if you want to help a senior, you can just take them for a car ride too, and open the windows.
Or walk during the summertime or
drive them out
fall.
to Paint Lake and back, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. And then one other thing, this is kind of specific to Thompson, and not sure how to deal with this. So when COVID hit, they set up the vaccine clinic at the TRCC. And the TRCC was virtually closed for any other use. Seniors, not just seniors, people love to use the walking track in the CA Nesbitt Arena. But it's only open early in the morning for hockey and late in the afternoon and into the evening for hockey and figure skating, which are not considered safe or good times for seniors and elders. They prefer the early afternoon when it's daylight and when there's traffic and everything. So we've been talking to the city to try and get them to move on getting the walking track open at more conducive hours. But as I said, that vaccine clinic is kind of hampering them a little bit.
It's interesting you mentioned that because, and I didn't realize that, to be honest. I have a child that does in hockey, and that's when I go in the evenings to take him. And when I do, if he's playing at the CA or his practice at CA, I'll use that walking track. But it never dawned on me that that wasn't available throughout the day. So it's new information for me as well.
Yeah. So it's something. So we are talking to the city, and hopefully we'll make some progress. So those three things: the foot care, the exercise, the facilities in the city of Thompson, those are all being addressed by an ad hoc committee right now. Some things that we still need to address, it was brought to our attention recently, is for those who are still living in their home, and to some degree those living in apartments. They might need help with simple things like changing light bulbs, straightening a picture on the wall. Like, there are things that maybe because it's not safe, they can't reach, or it's not safe for them to step on a step or a footstool or anything any longer. So it's not just the cutting the grass and the mowing the lawn, but it's these other more simple things. So trying to actually a grant opportunity was put before me just the other day, so I'm looking at that to see what kind of a program we could work out to do that. Could provide some simple employment for people and well as help others. So
Excellent.
and then again, another big thing is a gap is assistance with grocery shopping. Now, a lot of our stores will deliver. That's wonderful. But to get the food from the heavy boxes or the heavy bags from the door onto the table and put away, that'll exhaust the person for the rest of the day. Sometimes it's too heavy for them. So there's things like this that people need help with. And if you are related to somebody, you can offer to help on grocery days, right? But there are people in town who don't have any of their living children still in Thompson.
Right.
So,
No, absolutely. And we'll just go real quickly remind everyone that you're listening to Family Matters, brought to you by your radio station 102.9, and we have as our guest Penny Byer, who is the coordinator for the seniors. Sorry, could you remind?
Thompson Seniors Community Resource Council. We say we just have supporting seniors as our little logo, so
Right.
Maybe we'll start calling ourselves supporting seniors.
Or some sort of acronym. So for those that weren't with us at our last show, which we had Penny on, we had gone into some things that a person can do, whether even if you don't have an elder in your family, if you know of an elder. We were talking about some of the things that just an average person can do to assist their elders and seniors. So, Penny, could we go back into that and just remind people some of the things that they can do to assist seniors?
Sure. Now, going and knocking on a person's door as a stranger is probably a frightening thing for a senior, so I wouldn't recommend that. But if you know that there is a senior and elder living nearby and you suspect they need some assistance, you could always drop a note in their mailbox and say, I'm here to help. My name is so-and-so, and if you need help with groceries or shoveling or anything, please feel free to give me a call or leave me your phone number in the mailbox, or phone me with your phone number, and so I can call on you once in a while and make sure that you're okay. You can do something like that. That would be non-threatening. Anybody that you know, you can always ask. You can just say, I'm heading over to the pharmacy right away. Is there anything you need from the pharmacy? And they might say yes. They might say no. They just might be so pleasantly surprised that they got the call the day that they, they're feeling good about that one phone call all day, right? Things like finding out, do they like to do puzzles? Do they like to read a certain kind of book? Just ask them, do you want... I read this kind of book. Do you like to read books? Would you want me to drop my books off to you when I'm done reading? Or do you want to trade books? Just engage people in conversation.
Right.
Just, yeah. You might find some seniors who are nervous about that. As I said, things are changing so quickly in society right now that some seniors are not comfortable with the change. So they get a little scared of the rate of change, basically. So you might not always get the kind of reception that you're hoping for. If you're offering help, you might feel that you're getting a closed door in return. But just understand that this is new. Back, 100 years ago, if somebody knocked on your door and said, I noticed that, you've been walking with a limp lately. Can I give you a hand with anything? That would have been perfectly acceptable. Nowadays, it's like, are you stalking me? Are you waiting for me to slip up so you can come in my house? Things have changed that much. So society has changed that much. So if we can kind of get a little bit of a reverse back to offering to help people, it would be great. And you know what? I think it's here in the north. Like, I think people want to do that anyways, but maybe they're just afraid to. Like, just the reception that we've had with our in-kind donations for our hampers, it just blows me away. I'm just amazed at how much people have been willing to step up and help out.
Well,
You know,
and you know what? I think we live in a part of the province that we pride ourselves on the respect we have for our elders and seniors. So I'm not surprised to hear that. I think it's just part of our character up north here. So, Penny, I want to thank you very much for sharing your thoughts when it comes to how we can help our seniors, some of the issues that we are dealing with our elders and our seniors. And just for any of our listeners, can you tell us again how to get in touch with you
absolutely.
if there's any assistance that they need?
Yep. Call me at 204-677-0987. And you can call that number if you want to offer help or if you need help. And if I can't do it for you, I will find somebody who can help. The other way you can contact me if you're on computer at all is through email, thompsonseniors55@gmail.com. Contacting me in those two ways will ensure that there is privacy and it's not going to be out in the public domain if it's something you don't want discussed. So, yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. And once again, thank you to our listeners for joining us again for another edition of Family Matters. And as we go now into December, we want to wish everyone a great Christmas. And once again, remember your elders and your seniors as we go into this Christmas season. Pay them a nice long visit, allow them to have a nice chat with you. Or if you have a elder as a neighbor, perhaps knock on their door and see how they're doing. Thank you again for listening.